And final connections on the boiler, connecting thermostat. So I got thermostat there, put cover back on, and I got cylinder stat or pipe stat connected to return pipe. It's a magnetic cleaner here, so it goes back to the boiler and measures the temperature of the return pipe, and that is set now at the moment just above 0. It's probably about 3 degrees or something. You can see it's there, just over 0. So these two are connected with independent cables, wires. They're coming in here. This is thermostat connection here, so we got 2 terminals. So I connected one, in this instance blue wire, connected with one cable that goes to a common side of the thermostat, and then on return the brown one goes back in and links up with the brown one of the pipe stat, and that's a common on a pipe stat, and then the blue one as a return comes back and connects to other terminal here on the thermostat. So basically both of them need to be satisfied that it's cold enough, and then they're both gonna close the connections and let the boiler fire up. It's quite simple, just put them in order, in serial. So it's going to connect this back on. Right. So basically boiler is off now. So if this one calls for heat, it just clicked, nothing is happening. So if this one calls for heat, then they will both link up, because they're both calling for heat, they're both closing up. So they're both connected on normally open. So I'm just going to set them back to about 5 to 3 degrees. This one is just under 5 degrees on the pipe stat, and this one here is on 5. So if it ever gets frosty up here, at least boiler is not gonna get frosted and pipes are not gonna get frosted, and we're not gonna have emergencies on this bit. Right, so that's how you connect them. So it goes from connection in the boiler, goes to one, from one goes back, reconnects to that one, and then from there goes back into the boiler. I could have do connection within one of these 2 boxes, so I could go like there, from there, there, and then from there back to the boiler, but I just made all the connections in the boiler. Bit easier that way, bit neater. And that's about it. Just need to finish lugging on these few extra pipes, and that's the job done. So I'll try just show this here sort of schematically. So if we have a boiler, we have them 2 connections on the boiler, that basically if you connect them together with a bit of wire, the boiler will fire up. So that is sending signal to boiler to call for heat. So one of them is sending voltage out, another one is bringing voltage back in, and when it comes back in, that's basically switched on. So we got thermostat, and then we got pipe stat. Let's draw them like that. So I could have just bring one wire from boiler into the normally open. So basically that would be like that. So that would be brought up, let's go there, maybe like that better. So if I do same thing here, then from normally open you bring that one there, and then from this one back out to the boiler. So when one of them switches over and calls for heat, another one doesn't, the circuit is not closed, so it will not fire up. So both of them need to be switched on and close the circuit in serial, in radial, to actually call for heat. So this is sort of just drawn like that. So what I actually did, so this is the boiler, and these are two connections within the boiler, and we have frost stat and pipe stat, both of them with connections. So I got a cable with one wire going there, another wire going back towards the boiler, and then another cable going from this point here to that point, and then from here going back to the boiler and connecting here with this wire that is coming from frost duct. So they got that little quick connector to connect them two wires. So in effect is coming from there, going out there, and then from there going back out to pipe stat, and then from pipe stat going back to the boiler. So once both of them are on demand, then that switch will be closed there, and that switch will be closed there, and they'll have a closed circuit, and boiler will fire up. And that's basically it. And the reason why I'm putting frost stat and the pipe stat is because frost stat will measure the surrounding area air temperature, and pipe stat will measure the temperature of the pipe itself on return. That is the colder pipe, or between flow and return. So both of them will have to be asking for boiler to turn on, to actually turn it on. There's another way of wiring this. It's literally to connect here in the boiler, say like that, and that will be parallel. So that's the room stat and that's the pipe stat, and these are connections in the boiler. So we go one wire there, and then from here crossover one wire there and one wire there, which means that would mean that either all of them two gets switched on demand, it will close the circuit and boiler will fire up. So either the air temperature through the frost stat or pipe stat, whichever one calls for heat, it will turn the boiler on. In this instance I opted for series or connection in line because I wanted both of them to be satisfied that is cold enough. But this is the other option, other way how you can connect that. Just a little thing I forgot to say, this was on the combi boiler, so it's combi boiler, and it was ideal Atlantic. Many other boilers have similar connection, and very often if you don't have a dedicated connection for frost stat, you can actually connect it to wherever you connect your room stat or programmer or programmable room stat. You can just connect on the same connector there, because that means it would be pretty much like this where you would have a room stat sorry, pardon me, and then that one will have connection one there, another one there. So if that makes sense, so means either one of them gets switched, either room stat calling for heat or these two calling for heat, the boiler will just fire up. There you go.